then you are going to use this command /" and //. Okay. And coming to this structure of a Java program, here we have different sections, right? In that, the first section is documentation section, where you are writing the comments. And coming to this package statement section, so here we are going to declare the user defined packages. For declaring user defined packages, you are going to use the package keyword, and pack1 is the package name. So when in the import statement section, right, you are importing the predefined packages which are provided by the James Gosling, JavaSoft people, right? So predefined packages like this. But when you are declaring user defined package, that should be the first statement. If you don't write it right, you will be getting error that I have shown you already, right? So in the interface definition section, you are defining the interfaces. It contains it is just like a class, but which contains only constant variables and abstract methods or incomplete methods. So what is the difference between complete method and incomplete method? Nothing but abstract and non-abstract method. Abstract method means what? Incomplete method. That means when one method is ending with semicolon, not with curly braces, it is an abstract method or incomplete method. When one method is ending with curly braces, it is known as a complete method or non-abstract method. Coming to the class definition section, right? We can write any number of classes in a single program. Any number of classes you can write it. But at least one class should contain what? Main method. At least one class should contain main method. Okay. Any number of classes in a single program you can write it, but at least one class should contain main method. Okay, because the program execution starts from where? Main method only. Compulsory you should write main method. Okay. In whichever the class main method is there, that is known as a main method class. And we have discussed about this simple Java program also, where here this is the comment. This is what style of comment? C style of comment. And here this is the import package. Here we are importing the package. That means what? Here lang is the default package. Whether you import it or not, by default that is there in every package. It will be imported in every program. Got it? It's a default package. No need to mention. Okay. And coming to this lang class demo, class is a keyword used to define a class. At least we can write any number of classes. That also I have shown you. Any number of classes you can write, but at least one class should contain main method. That is mandatory. This class is known as a main method class. Here class code starts here, class code ends here, and this is a main method. Generally in C or C++ you can write void main or int main, but in Java you are going to write a public static void main. This public static keywords you can interchange. I mean, you can write static public also, but you cannot interchange this void main. Actually, main is a user defined method. Even though sorry, even though it is provided by the James Gosling JavaSoft people, but still it is known as a user. See, if a method started with if a method is provided by scientists, those are known as predefined methods now. But of course this main method is provided by the JavaSoft people only, but still no, you can 1 second. But still, right, you can call it as a user defined method. Why? Because even though that method is provided by the scientist, that method code, that main method code is written by the user or programmer. That's why this is known as a user defined method. And see, every method will return some value. Every method will return some value either. Okay. And so if method is not returning any value, say example, if method is returning integer value, you will write int before the method name. If method is returning string value, you will write string before the method name. If method is not returning any value, then you will write void. Because here main method is not returning any value to the JVM. Who will calls main method? JVM is calling main method. So that means main method is not returning any value to the JVM. That's why we have written void. Okay. And you know, public, generally this main method is written by the programmer. This main method is executed by JVM. JVM is a program written by the OS vendors, right? Implementation, JVM implementation is provided by OS vendors, right? So here, so our main method should be available to JVM means compulsory we should declare this main method as public. Then only it is available to JVM, right? That's why we declared it as public. And coming to the static, in the last session I explained, generally there are two types of methods. One is instance method, another one is static method. Got it? So in a class, if you declare a variable like this, this is instance variable. In a class, if you declare a variable with static keyword, it is known as static variable, or we can call it as a class variable. This is instance method and this is static method. What is the difference between instance and static method? Very simple. Static methods doesn't need any object. It will be called by using the class name. Okay, no need of any object. But I said now, when you write a class like this, memory is not allocated. Whenever you create an object for the class like this, okay, then memory is allocated for the class variables and methods. Class will be loaded, but whatever the variables and methods available in the class, for that variables and methods, when memory created, whenever you create an object like this, I have drawn the diagram that day, right? So in that object, memory is allocated for instance variables, instance methods. Objects are created in which area? Heap area. But coming to the static variable and static methods, those are memory is created in the method area. Only one copy is created. Static variable, static methods, only one copy created, and that is shared to all objects of the class. Okay. But here, when you see this one, right, instance variables, instance methods, how many objects you created, those many copies of instance variables, instance methods memory created in each and every object separately. Got it? So to call the instance variables, instance methods, you need object. So whenever that's why James Gosling decided that they declared this main method as static. Say example, if there is no static keyword before main method, what is the problem? If there is no static static keyword before the main method, then the main method actually it will becomes instance method, and JVM should call that main method using object. So to call main method, you need object. To create object, the control should enter inside main method. Both not possible, interlinked. To create object, the control will enter inside the main method. To call that main method, you need object. Without entering into main, you cannot create object. Without object, you cannot call main method. So both are interlinked, right? That's why what Javas of people done is they declare this main method as static. Whenever they declare this main method as static, static methods doesn't need any object. It will be called by using the class name. Now JVM will calls this main method using class name a.main, like that it will calls. So no question of object here. That's the reason they have declared main method as static. Okay. Now string args. Main method will have string type of array. This args is an array name that you can change it. Any name you can give, but generally James Gosling given like that args, argument array, arguments. But you can give any name whatever you want. But this square brackets is mandatory, which indicates that it is an array. Okay. So main method will have string type of array as argument. If you don't write this now, string type of array as argument, JVM cannot recognize as main method, because JVM recognizes main method along with this string type of array as argument. Okay, this is what we have discussed in the last session, right? So coming to this, up to here explain, and main method code starts here, main method code ends here. Now my question is this: system.out.println hello. This is what my discussion now for today's session, right? Actually, in the C language, to print any output onto the output console or screen, you are going to use the printf function. Okay, so you will write printf hello. Okay, you will write printf hello. Okay, you will be writing like this. And in the C++, if you want to print anything onto the output screen, you will be writing like this, cout object. Got it? So, but whereas coming to the Java language, okay, so if you want to print anything onto the output screen, you have print, println and printf methods. Okay, you have print method, println method, and printf method. Okay. You have a print method, println method, and printf method. Actually, these three are the instance methods. You should remember, instance methods means immediately one thing should come into the mind. What is that? It should be called by using object. Static means it should be called by using what? Class. It should be called by using what? Class. Got it or not? Okay. So instance methods. So print, println, and printf are the instance methods which are present in the print stream class. You know, print stream is one class, predefined class, which is in the java.io package, which is in java.io package, used for printing message onto the output stream. Got it? So in the java.io package, we have one class known as print stream class. We have one class known as print stream class. Okay. In that print stream class, we have three methods: print, println, and printf methods. Okay. We have print, println, and printf methods. Okay. So by using all these three methods, instance methods, you are going to print anything onto the output stream. Where? In Java. Okay. So what I said, print, println, printf are the instance methods of which class? Print stream class. So how to call instance methods? By using the object of that class, right? By using the object of that class. Now these three methods belongs to which class? Print stream class. Now to call these instance methods, you first of all you should create object for print stream class. Yes or no? That's why we created object for print stream class as out. Out is the first object name. ERR is the second object name of print stream classes. Now how to print? Okay, now you need to call these instance methods, right? How to call using object now? You write out.print. You can use any of these three methods. Hello. Out.println. Hello. Out.printf. Hello. Got it? So that means what here actually? What is the difference between this one, print and println? Actually, whenever you write, you use print method, hello is printed and the control is there in the same line. Cursor is blinking in the same line. But whereas, sorry, whereas whenever you use println method, hello is printed and the control comes to the next line. And printf is the same method, just like C, that you can use it in Java also. Hello. Okay. That means what? Print, println, printf are the three instance methods of print stream class which are available in java.io package, used for printing any message onto the output screen. So because those methods are instance methods, so compulsory instance methods should be called by using the object of the class to whichever the class these methods belongs. These methods belongs to print stream class. That's why we created object for print stream class like this. And by using that object, you are calling the methods and you are printing the message onto the output screen. Here, actually, this we have not done. This is already done by James Gosling itself. These objects, out object and ERR object, these two objects of print stream class already created by James Gosling. Predefined objects, those are created by James Gosling already. Okay. So this out and ERR are the two objects of which class? Print stream class. And here we have one more object known as in. In. That in is the object of input stream class. This input stream class is also available in the IO package only. Got it? So out ERR are the two objects of which class? Print stream class. In is the object of which class? Input stream class. Okay. Got it clear or not? Okay. So these are the predefined objects of print stream class and input stream class available in which package? Java.io package. By using those print stream class objects, I am calling this print, println, and printf methods. Why? Because all these three methods belongs to this class only. That's why. That class object, by using that class object only, you can call these methods. Then what is the use of this ERR object, Bindu? Yes, of course, if you want to print an error message, you use ERR. If you want to print a normal message, then you use out. Got it? Then out, ERR, in. These three are available. Actually, one more point you should remember here. This out variable, ERR variable, and in. These three objects, na? Out, ERR, and in are objects of print stream and input stream classes. These three are available as static variables in system class, which is in java.lang package. Got it clear? This out, ERR and in are available as what variables? Static variables. Static variables means which will be called by using what name? Class name. So these three objects of print stream and input stream class are available as static variables in which class? System class, and which that class is available in which package? Java.lang package. These are the classes. Every class we will discuss. These are the exceptions. Which class? All those three, out, ERR and in are available as static variables in which class? System class, right? Go to system class. See here. This is the system class. Public final class system extends object class. For every class in Java, there is one super class known as object class. Object class is a super class or parent class for every class in Java. Object class. Okay, fine. See here. I said na, out, ERR or print stream class objects in input stream class object. This input stream and print stream class objects are available as what variables? Static variables. In which class? Simple. The meaning of this one is, if you write int A is what type of variable? Integer variable. If you write float B is what variable? Float variable. Same way, before ERR, you have written what? Print stream. That means this is the object variable of print stream class. In is the object variable of input stream class. Out is the object variable of print stream class. But of course, this out, ERR, and in are objects of print stream and input stream classes. But still, this out, ERR, are in and in are available as a static variables in which class? System class, which is in java.lang package. Got it clear? Understood? Why you are saying all these things, Bindu? Every time you need to create, you have to get the print stream class object and you have to tell it. Scientist has provided an option for us where they have taken this print stream and input stream class objects as the static variables in system class in java.lang package. Okay, so directly they have provided those objects as static variables in system class. That's why what we are going to do is, by using that variable, system class static variables, right, out, ERR, in, to use that variables, we should call by using what name? Class name. Yes or no? The scientist made these three objects as static variables in system class. Now static variables or static methods will be called by using what name? Class name. No, you know that already, right? So to use these variables, we should call by using what name? Class name, because those are static variables. So now how can you call this out? Using class name. What is the class name? System. Now you will write system.out, system.err, system.in, because all these three are static variables in system class. That's why I'm calling by using the class name. Now in Java, system.out represents a standard output stream. I mean, in Java, you will represent a monitor as system.out. Even error message or normal message, everything will be displayed in the monitor only. Na? So system.out, system.err. So both represents what? Standard output stream, nothing but monitor. Okay. And next one is what? System.in. System.in represents what? Standard input stream, nothing but keyboard. System.in represents what? Standard input stream, nothing but keyboard. Got it? That's why you are writing like this.
Bindu, one
system
question.
dot out dot println. Yeah, please tell me.
Adi out and ERR objects variables objects kada?
అవి actually out ERR in అనేటివి objects ఏ దీనికి print stream class and input stream classes కి ఓకే in అనేది input stream class object, out ERR అనేటివి print stream class objects. ఓకే సో ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే అఫ్ కోర్స్ అవి ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ అయినప్పటికీ కూడా సిస్టమ్ క్లాస్ లో ఆ అవుట్ ఈఆర్ఆర్ ఇన్ అనేటివి స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్స్ లాగా ఉన్నాయి. Those are available as static variables in system class. Those are available as static variables in system class. Okay, so అవి వేరియబుల్ అవి ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఏ మనకు స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్స్ లాగా ఉన్నాయి ఎక్కడ సిస్టమ్ క్లాస్ లో. ఓకే సో ఎందుకు అలా పెట్టారు అంటే ఇప్పుడు ప్రతిసారి మనం ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే దానికి ఇప్పుడు మనం అవి ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ లాగా ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి, మనం కంపల్సరీగా ప్రింట్ స్ట్రీమ్ క్లాస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకుని మళ్ళీ తర్వాత యూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి. వాళ్ళు ఒక ఆల్టర్నేటివ్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేశారు. ఆ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ని ఈ అవుట్ ఈఆర్ఆర్ ఇన్ అనే ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ని స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్స్ లాగా డిక్లేర్ చేశారు సిస్టమ్ క్లాస్ లో. నేను చెప్పిన విధంగా, నేను చూపించిన విధంగా ఇలాగా. ఇప్పుడు అవుట్ అనేది ఏంటి అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇంట్ ఏ రాస్తే ఈ అనేది ఇంటీజర్ వేరియబుల్, అలానే ఈఆర్ఆర్ అనేది ఏంటి ప్రింట్ స్ట్రీమ్ క్లాస్ వేరియబుల్ అనమాట. ఏం వేరియబుల్ అది స్టాటిక్ ఉంది కాబట్టి స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్. ఇన్ ఇస్ ఇన్పుట్ స్ట్రీమ్ క్లాస్ వేరియబుల్ స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్, అవుట్ ఇస్ ప్రింట్ స్ట్రీమ్ క్లాస్ స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్, అట్లాగా డిక్లేర్ చేశారు. సో ఇప్పుడు ఏంటి ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు స్టాటిక్ అంటే కంపల్సరీ మనం క్లాస్ నేమ్ తో కాల్ చేయాలి, అవునా? ఇప్పుడు ఈ వేరియబుల్స్ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నాయి? సిస్టమ్ క్లాస్ లో కదా ఉన్నాయి, కాబట్టి క్లాస్ నేమ్ తో కాల్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఎందుకు బిందు సిస్టమ్ క్లాస్ ద్వారా కాల్ చేస్తున్నాం అంటే ఆ మూడు కూడా స్టాటిక్ వేరియబుల్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ ప్రెసెంట్ ఇన్ ద సిస్టమ్ క్లాస్. దట్స్ వై వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ బై యూజింగ్ ద క్లాస్ నేమ్. సో ఇన్ జావా, జనరల్ గా జావాలో ఏంటంటే మనం మానిటర్ ని ఎలా రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తామంటే సిస్టమ్ డాట్ అవుట్ అని లేదంటే సిస్టమ్ డాట్ ఈఆర్ఆర్ అని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాం. అంటే మానిటర్ ని ఇప్పుడు ఎర్రర్ మెసేజ్ అయినా నార్మల్ మెసేజ్ అయినా మన స్క్రీన్ మీదనే డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది కదా. సో టు రిప్రజెంట్ ద మానిటర్ ఇన్ జావా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యూస్ సిస్టమ్ డాట్ అవుట్ అండ్ సిస్టమ్ డాట్ ఈఆర్ఆర్. టు రిప్రజెంట్ కీబోర్డ్ ఇన్ జావా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యూస్ సిస్టమ్ డాట్ ఇన్. అంటే మనం ఇన్పుట్ ఇచ్చేది త్రూ కీబోర్డ్ కదా, వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్ ఇన్పుట్ త్రూ కీబోర్డ్ ఓన్లీ, రైట్? సో టు రిప్రజెంట్ ద కీబోర్డ్ ఇన్ జావా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యూస్ సిస్టమ్ డాట్ ఇన్. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ సిస్టమ్ డాట్ అవుట్ డాట్ ప్రింట్ఎల్ఎన్ అంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటి? సిస్టమ్ డాట్ అవుట్ రిప్రజెంట్స్ వాట్? మానిటర్, రైట్? ప్రింట్ఎల్ఎన్ మెథడ్ ఆర్ ప్రింట్ మెథడ్ ఆర్ ప్రింట్ఎఫ్ మెథడ్ ఏదైనా రాయొచ్చు. ఇక్కడ ప్రింట్ రాయొచ్చు, ప్రింట్ఎల్ఎన్ రాయొచ్చు, ప్రింట్ఎఫ్ రాయొచ్చు. This print or println or printf method is going to display this hello onto the output screen. System.out represents what? Monitor. This println method is going to display this hello on monitor. System.out.
So if I want to input the keyboard things, then can we give system.in.println? No, right?
No, not print. No, not println. By that time, you don't use println. Println is for displaying. Displaying purpose will use println. System not in. Yeah. If you want to input something from the keyboard, okay. Generally, we are going to provide input through the keyboard only. By that time, you will use system dot in because their system dot in represents what? Keyboard.
Can we see one example, Bindu?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Next year, I'll show it to you. Like we have a buffer reader, input stream reader method, and we have scanner class. Like that, we have so many methods, input methods are there. So one example, I'll show it to you. 1 second. Yeah, here what I'm going to do is I'm taking a simple example where I'm just adding two numbers and displaying it onto the output screen, the addition of two numbers, right? So for that I'm taking like this class addition, and here I just want to read the data from the user at runtime. Okay, so for that I'm importing import java.io.star. Okay, because the lang is the default package that is available in every program, whether you write it or not, by default that package is there. Okay, and here in the main method, what you are going to do is, so I'll explain it later. Okay, the clear explanation of input methods, but because Venu is asking, I'm just writing this example. Okay, buffer reader BR is equals to new buffer reader, new input stream reader system.in. Okay, and here what you are going to do is, you are writing enter two numbers. In Java, you can declare variables wherever you want. It's not mandatory like C in C++, compulsory you need to declare variables in the starting itself, right? It's not like that here. Int a is equals to integer, one second, integer dot parseInt br dot readline, and int b is equals to integer dot parseInt br dot don't confuse, I'll explain it later, because these things next we need to discuss input methods. Okay, next topic is that one only, tomorrow's session. Okay, br dot readline, and int c is equals to a plus b I'm writing, and that I'm printing it onto the output screen. Addition of two numbers, addition of two numbers is equals to double quotes close plus, sorry, double quotes close plus c. Okay, done. When you are using buffer reader BR object and new input stream reader object, so whenever you are using readline method, it is going to throw one exception. That's why here I am writing throws IO exception. Okay, compulsory you write it like that, because it will throws IO exception, which is a checked exception. Checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions. Two types of exceptions are there. Checked means which will be raised by the compiler at compilation time. Unchecked means which happens at runtime. Generally, all exceptions happens at runtime only, but some are detected by the compiler at compile time, and some are detected by the JVM at runtime. Okay, exceptions అన్ని రన్ టైమ్ లోనే హ్యాపెన్ అవుతాయి, బట్ కొన్ని కంపైలర్ డిటెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది కంపైల్ టైమ్ లో, కొన్ని రన్ టైమ్ లో JVM డిటెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు IO exception is one of the exception which is detected by the compiler at compile time. So whenever you use readline method, it is going to raise this IO exception, where actually whenever exception happens, we have to do either of two things. Either we have to handle that exception, or else we have to throw that exception out of the program. But at this moment, we don't know what is exception, what are the exceptions, how to handle that exception, nothing, try catch blocks, nothing. We don't know anything about all those things. That's why simply what I'm doing is I'm just throwing that exception out of the program to execute my program. Because exception rise అయినప్పుడు you have to do two things. One is you have to throw it, or else you have to handle it. At this moment, I don't want to handle it. I just thrown it. That's it. Throws IO exception. Okay. Save this program. One second. Java 2020. Addition.java. Save it. Tools. Compiler. System.in I gave. That is a keyboard which represents keyboard. Successfully compiled, no errors at all. Okay, compiled successfully. So you got the .class file. When you go and see Java 2020, you will get you will see addition.class file. See here, addition.class file. You got it. Got it. Then coming to here, go and run the program. It will ask for enter two numbers. Then I am going to enter 100 and 200. Where addition of two numbers is equals to 300 printed. So here system.in represents what? Keyboard. You are connecting keyboard to input stream reader class object. This input stream reader class object is connected to BR object, buffer reader object. Okay. What is the meaning of that statement buffer reader BR is equals to new buffer reader, new input stream reader? Means tomorrow we will discuss Okay, that input methods concept only we need to discuss in the tomorrow's session. This is how you need to use this system.in. System.in represents keyboard, standard input stream. System.out represents monitor, standard output stream. Got it? So this is what the explanation of a simple Java program. Got it? Any doubts here?
Bindu, can you
doubts
show me
ఇక్కడ?
that program? A program ఒకసారి
Yeah,
చూపిరా.
sure. చూపిస్తా.
ఇది ఒకసారి రన్ చేయరా ఇది?
Yeah.
Compile.
Compile. Successfully compiled. No errors. Executed. Asking for two numbers. 120, 240. Given two numbers. 120 is stored into A. 240 is stored into B. And addition printed.
So these 120 and 240 we are giving runtime, right? So these are like system.in.
Yes, yes. Through keyboard only we are giving this 120 and 240. That's why in this statement I have given like this system.in. Connected keyboard to this object. Through keyboard whatever the data you will provide, right? Actually here this readline method is there, no? So through keyboard whatever the data you give, that is stored into input stream reader object first. Later that data is sent to BR object. Now our data is 120 and 240 is available in the BR object, right? So from there, by using this readline method, I am reading the data. Even though I have entered integers, but readline method will read that data in the form of string. 120 will be read in the form of string from BR object. Which one? This readline method. Okay. So that's why actually we don't want string type of 120, string type of 240, right? That's why I am using the parse methods of integer wrapper class. These are available in the lang package. This program full-fledged explanation I'll explain in the tomorrow session, because this discussion happens in the tomorrow session. So this parse into method, what it will do is it takes the string type of data, converts that into integer type and stored into this A and stored into this B. Finally, you are performing the addition, printing it here. In C or C++, for concatenation purpose, you will use comma. But in Java, you are going to use plus, concatenation symbol.
Okay. Yeah.
So Bindu, okay line lo iste, if you give it in the same line, will it take it or?
Which one?
A and B. Input ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు
we cannot give it.
Space
అంటే మీరు అనేది
ఇప్పుడు మీరు రన్ చేస్తే అక్కడ ఏ అండ్ బి వాల్యూస్ ఇస్తున్నారు కదా 120 and 240.
అవును అవును.
Can we give them in the same line by separating it with semicolon or comma or
space? No, comma you should not give. One second. You compile, right? It's already done, right? No need to compile again and again. You directly give 120 and space 240, you give it like that, but you should not give. It is asking. So number format exception, you got it. Java.lang.number format exception for input string. It is considering, see here readline method. So readline method compulsory, it will read that entire thing as one string. Readline method is it will read, that's what I said, right? Whatever the data you give, it will read the data in the form of string. Again, by using the parse method, you are going to convert the data into integer type and stored into A and B. So when you have to give the data, compulsory you need to press enter key. Then it will read 120 as separate string and 240 as separate string.
Okay.
Okay. Any doubt here? No, right? Yeah. One second. So this is what the basics. Yeah, this is the document. That's what I said that day. ఇక్కడ ఆల్మోస్ట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఉన్నాయండి. ఎంతవరకు అంటే 26 ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ వరకు డైరెక్ట్ గా చేసేయచ్చు. 26 వరకు. After that, programs are there on operators from 27 to till 52, I think. 52, 53. Yeah, 52. Answer key not provided. Okay. So I will only discuss. You please, is it visible to you? Do I need to just, I'll increase the font. Yeah. Now, is it visible to you? Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
Yes,
What is the error here? I'll copy. Control C. Yeah. Open new file. Open Java file. Okay, I pasted. Class A.
Nothing wrong.
Okay. Say A dot Java already there, no? A2 dot Java. Okay. E drive Java 2020. Oh, A dot Java is not there. A dot Java. Save it. Okay. Fine. Is there any other here?
No, Binder.
No.
No.
Because we have interchanged static public. Yes, of course it is possible. I said public static you can interchange, but you cannot interchange void main, right? System.out.println done. What is the output here? So once you execute this program, right? So then you are getting as the output. Okay, fine. Next, class B. So public static void main, you gave string square brackets here you have given, and you have given the name as A. Args is the array name here. Args is the array name here. Got it? That's the name given by the scientist. But you can give any name whatever you want. And this square bracket also, this square bracket also, you can give it after the array name or before the array name or after the data type also you can give it like this. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఆర్గ్స్ తర్వాత ఇవ్వచ్చండి, ఇక్కడ బిఫోర్ ఇవ్వచ్చు, స్ట్రింగ్ డేటా టైప్ తర్వాత కూడా ఇలా ఇవ్వచ్చు అనమాట. ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈస్ కరెక్ట్ హియర్. సో దేర్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ ఎర్రర్ హియర్. ఓకే, వెన్ యూ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ దిస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ పర్ఫెక్ట్లీ ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్ అండ్ యూ విల్ గెట్ ద అవుట్పుట్ యాజ్ డన్. కమింగ్ టు దిస్ క్లాస్ సి. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, పబ్లిక్ స్టాటిక్ వాయిడ్ మెయిన్ ఇచ్చారు, స్ట్రింగ్ ఆర్గ్స్ ఇచ్చారు. బట్ ఆర్గ్స్ అనేది ఏంటి, ఇక్కడ అర్రే లాగా ఉండాలి. బట్ యూ స్కిప్డ్ దట్, జస్ట్ యూ గేవ్ ఆర్గ్స్. Okay, so then you will get what error. You remove these square brackets, you save it, Control S, compile. Okay, it is not showing any compile time error. That's what I said. That's the work of JVM. Compiler just checks whether any syntactical errors are there. That's it. Control 2. See, main method not found in class A. Please define main method as it has shown. It has shown like this. Got it? That means what? Compulsory you need to give main method like this. Sorry, one second. Okay. Okay. Then next one. 1 second. Yeah. And here class D. I said no, public static you can interchange, but not void main. Here public you have written like that, and void static interchanges, sir. That is the error. You should not write like that. The same error you will get. Please define main method as. Okay. Here also, you have written public static void main correctly, but you did not written string args. But what I said, JVM will recognize this main method along with string type of array as argument. If you don't write it, you will get error. You remove this. See, same error you will get it. Okay. Then next, class F. Here public static void main you have written correctly. Okay. And system.out.println. What I said, println, when you use it, the message is printed and the control comes to the new line. So then what is the output here?
Done.
Done is printed. And in the next line,
110.
not 110, not 110, because you have written
Okay,
inside
this is a
double
string,
quotes.
right? Yeah.
That will be treated as a string.
100 plus 10.
Because you have written in double quotes, 100 plus 10 is printed and the control comes to the new line. Okay, fine.
Done in the
False
second
is
line.
a,
100 plus 10.
yeah. So here false is a just a boolean value. It's a value just like 100. 100 is a value here, right? Same as just like that, false is a value, boolean value, false, true, or the boolean values. So whenever you write false, false is printed as usual. See, in the SOP
But it's not
statement,
in
if
the
you write
quotes,
100,
right?
it is not in the quotes, but of course, I'll tell you one thing. I have written 100 like this. I did not written inside the quotes because it is just an integer number. I wrote inside SOP statement. And when I execute it, 100 is printed. That's the value. That's what I'm telling you. That's not a string. That's a value. Value is printed as usual. In the same way, whenever I write false, that's a value. 100 is an integer value. Here, false is a boolean value. That as usual, false will be displayed onto the output screen like this. ఇప్పుడు 100 ఎలాగైతే ఇంటీజర్ వాల్యూ, ఫాల్స్ ఎలాగా బూలియన్ వాల్యూ అంతే. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ 100 ప్లస్ 30 అంటున్నారు అంటే ఏంటి, మీకు అవుట్పుట్ 130 వస్తుంది. సో వాట్ అబౌట్ ద 8th program? First 100 plus 10 printed. Okay, and in the next line 100 not equals to 100. You did not written this inside double quotes. Please observe. When you write it in double quotes, whatever you write, the same thing will be displayed. But when you don't use double quotes, that is evaluated. If you write any condition like that, that is evaluated and the result is printed. ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఈ 100 plus 10 ఎందుకు అలానే ప్రింట్ అవుతుందంటే, because you have written inside a double quotes which is treated as a string. But here 100 not equals to 100 అనేది you did not written in double quotes. That is treated as an expression that is evaluated. The result is printed. 100 not equals to 100, false. Yes or no? That's why false printed. And 300 by 30, integer by integer gives integer in Java. In programming languages, integer by integer gives integer. 300 by 30 means 10.
10.
And here true equals to true means what? True. True is printed. And 300 by 306.